People are broke not because they don't make enough money, but rather they spend more money they make. And to illustrate how true this is, if tomorrow everything disappears from the market, anything that you usually spend money on, no coffee, no Starbucks, let's say transportation is free, let's say you only go to work, get paid, and go home, you will simultaneously see how much of your usual expenses disappear, and you kind of can live with all the money that you're currently earning. This is the same misconception that the world is overcrowded. All the while, a recent study found that if you gather all the people from all the countries, put them in Australia, it will be completely enough to fit all the people living normally. So obviously there is enough space. Obviously most people can live normally with the money they're making. Of course there are exceptions, but we're not focusing on exceptions. We're focusing on actual rules and the patterns. People overspend. I've seen plenty of people, friends of mine, friends of mine. They spend money that they don't have. And the idea here is that the spending habit is kind of a hobby. It's kind of a lifestyle hobby, because if you live in the big city, like if you live in New York City, you don't have to have a hobbies that people probably in Florida and Miami have. Like every day off or time off you have, probably go to the beach, probably go and you do fishing, probably go and do jet ski, right? Every free time that you have here with your family or with your friends, what you usually do, you go out, you eat someplace, and then you go shopping. People spend 80 to 90% of their free time shopping. Like everyone has tons of clothes here in New York City. So I come to realize this because I didn't grow up going to the mall. I hate going to the mall. As a teenager, my friends say, let's go to the mall, let's watch a movie. I always hate the mall. I didn't see any purpose of it, right? Going shopping and all this nonsense. But the area where you live kind of shape your lifestyle, kind of creates a pattern of how your working days, how your free time will look like, where you're gonna spend your time, how you're gonna spend your time, what you're gonna spend more money on. I'm telling you, people that I've communicated recently, they spend more money on shopping than money on food. In some cases, they spend even more money on shopping than money they spend on rent, which is crazy. So this is why when you choose the place that you want to settle, you want to live, it is very important to understand the change of lifestyle that comes with the area and place you live, right? So if you live in Miami, like I said, I don't see myself shopping every day. I see myself being in the beach all day long. I don't care about the mall. I don't care about sale. I don't care about anything, right? I don't know which day is Black Friday. I don't know which days is what was Cyber Monday. I don't really care. But because when you live in the big cities, you kind of stuck in particular pattern when you see almost everyone is doing the same thing. Almost everyone is spending their money on the same areas of the city. They're spending on the same items. You see them on the same locations, and this is kind of a limited belief syndrome where a lot of people are having hard time to come up with original ideas to spend their time and their money in a way in which it really makes sense for them. Because most of the people that spend all this money that they don't have, they usually buy stuff that they don't need. And the crazy part is that they try to impress people that they really don't care. It's kind of a self-humiliating way of overworking yourself to keep up with the Joneses, right? But that's the actual truth. I just recently realized this because, like I said, I didn't like shopping. I spent all my teenage years, wearing tracksuits, playing soccer, playing football in the field with the boys. I didn't really care. I didn't have like pair of jeans maybe until I was like maybe 16 or whatsoever. I didn't really care about fashion. But look at me now. Everything is like arranged by colors, by patterns, by materials. Everything is like I got like so interested of all this stuff. It's crazy. So you need to have this second thought before moving to a particular area, because the area will shape you. it's not gonna be you the one shaping up the area, and the area will shape you. And if you don't like the way you're shaped by the area, you're going to relocate. This is what happens with a lot of people. This is why they're moving. They're buying boats. They become fishermen. They spend every afternoon down on the flats. They find their hobbies. Why so many people in Palm Beach play golf? Why there's so many golf clubs over there, not so many golf clubs over here in New York, right? Here in New York, yeah, we have plenty of marinas, we have country clubs, right? But it's just different type of a lifestyle that shape New Yorkers, and different lifestyle that shape people down in Florida, and people in California, and people in San Francisco, right? It's the area that shapes the people, the lifestyle, and of course how much and on what people actually spend their money on. And this is where the shift that I began the video with is that you can really fit the lifestyle in the area you live if you stop overspending more money than you're making. Most people just go with the flow. Everyone else in my building, let's say, spent X amount of money on these items, I'm gonna spend it all, regardless that anybody else makes more money than me. That's the most outrageous part, is that people do not really compare their lifestyle with their actual earnings, which is the biggest discrepancy that makes the big difference. When in the end of the month, other people in the building who are wealthier than you, they don't really feel the difference spending $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 more than the previous month, where for you, credit card delinquencies are almost at an all-time high. Not to mention, yesterday I watched a video where the new companies who are trying to take over the credit card businesses are buy now, pay later. And the three companies that currently are competing with credit card companies. And effectively, they're in some way operate like a credit card company, because they still charge you a late payment fee, which happens to be an interest, which is the same system the credit card companies uses, right? If you really think deeply, Mark Zuckerberg is kind of a Jim Cramer in the technology sector. Think about all the predictions and investments that he and his company actually did, and quite went completely in the opposite direction. Think about the Metaverse, think about the VR headset, acquiring companies here and there. $20 billion completely lost. They just recently closed not only the project around the Metaverse, he fired all the people who were actually working on the Metaverse. And there are many other different projects. I got reminded by Perplexity, of course, that illustrate that in some form or shape, if you are able and capable and kind of interested to follow the both sectors, the stock market, the Jim Cramer, the person who is usually mocked for being wrong and then trying to fix what he said, betting on the opposite side, being wrong again. One of the greatest of all time was when Meta fell under $100. He apologized that he was bullish on Meta. The following year, Meta made all-time high. The best performing stock, very close to Nvidia. Percentage-wise, was actually bigger than Nvidia. So again, Jim Cramer was very, very off this prediction as well. But the main point here is that if you zoom out, considering the current acquisition from Meta in Manus AI, right? If you just follow the AI sector, of course, if this is something that interests you, you probably will be more interested to follow the development, and maybe we're actually experiencing the top in the AI boom, because these guys were late big time for the AI hype, and they figured it out, and they didn't want to miss the train, and they doubled down. Something very opposite with the Metaverse. With the Metaverse, they thought that they're the first one, they're the innovators, they're the pioneers. That's why they double and triple down $20 billion. And in the end, they were the only one in the room. There was no one else investing in the Metaverse. Even people who purchase land, sell land, develop games in real estate in the Metaverse. Remember, people were saying the Empire State Building in the Metaverse. People were saying, smokehouse next to the Adobe house. All these pretty, I would say, comic book realities where a lot of people were buying, and the prices were, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. Some people flipped this virtual land, make money, but the overall concept, the whole idea of Zach, the person who was a human, right? Before, it didn't play out. It didn't play out because the people didn't engage. And Microsoft, even Microsoft tried to help the push and the adoption of the VR headset. I personally went here to the flagship store on Fifth Avenue in Microsoft on the second floor to try the VR headset, try to, understand what is the whole hype about. I didn't find it engaging. It was uncomfortable, heavy. I don't know, maybe very, very, very young kids. Maybe they tried to kill some time, but it was boring. Then Apple, right before Zuck, leave the project and fire all the team. Apple picked up from the same spot, but they implemented the whole new reality. Remember this 5000? I forget what was the name. It's like Apple Vision Pro or something like this. So yeah, but the concept is completely different. You in fact can work from this device that Apple built versus the Zuck, where he was like hang out with friends and like a WhatsApp virtual reality world where no one actually was interested. The point here that I'm trying to make, of course, let me remind you, we just stretched for a while, is that if you really see and read between the lines, Zuck might actually be the Jim Cramer in the technology sector, and he might actually be the indicator that you want to follow if you're investing in some of these AI companies that Meta either acquired or is planning to acquire or is partnering with. Again, this is do your own research and due diligence. For my own personal consideration, I think that the Manos AI is overhyped. Nothing unique. I haven't seen anything that the other chatbots cannot do. Also, it's slower, it takes much more time for research and deep research, and especially building projects. You have less credits, more expensive, so many disadvantages. But again, Zuck probably has seen something that we don't know.